welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. And most importantly, congratulations on investing your time. I know as business owners and people in practices, you are very busy. So making time for yourself is one of the first steps in achieving what Amos has achieved. So today you're going to walk away with ideas on growth, scale, strategy, of course, learn how to work less hours in your business and make more profits. In addition to that, please really take the most of this event, take notes, ask questions and participate, be present, turn off your phones, remove all distractions and take as much as you can from this event today. I'm here to serve you, to create more time, money and more life for yourself and essentially enjoy more happiness in life. So let's get started. So as you all know, Amos is the co-host with me today. Amos, please go ahead and just share your story and let everyone know about you and away you go.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Right. Speak to staff or text the British Transport Police on 61016. We'll sort it. See it?
I'm just trying to mute everyone. Sorry about that, Amos. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks Kooks for inviting me and thanks Parag as well. All right, so I started my own practice 11 years ago. Actually, next week is our anniversary. After working for big and small practices, and I always knew that one day I want to start on my own. I kind of fell into starting the practice because of personal circumstances. So about 10 years ago, both my parents passed away within a kind of a period of 18 months for each other. So I needed a lot of flexibility. So I kind of led into it, which was probably not the right way of doing it because I didn't have any clients. So I relied a lot on kind of savings and things, but I really needed to be in that sort of flexible frame mind just because. And the first 2 years were not much has been kind of happening on the architecture side or kind of project coming in, and then it slowly kicked in. And kind of looking back in hindsight, I wish I've known about Parag when I first started. He wasn't born with business genes in my DNA, and this whole and I kind of wish that I've known about a lot of the things I've learned so far when I started out. So I think as architects, it's definitely something which is lacking in our education, and it is something. Introduction to business should definitely be on the curriculum, and I think it should even be something that as children we should be exposed to. So the first sort of 7-8 years, it was really about kind of trying to survive and to get projects and clients. I didn't have kind of the right tools, so it was really about kind of making do as you kind of move along. Luckily, I had some sort of contacts that kind of referred me and introduced me to people, but it wasn't structured at all. I guess I was quite. I lacked a lot of knowledge, especially everything to do with the whole idea of coaching seemed quite alien to me, and I kind of thought, no, that's not really for me. I think my only encounter was seeing Tony Robbins in some film or something, and I kind of thought, yeah, this is it. and it didn't really attract me. And then somehow I heard of Action Coach and Parag. I think primarily of the work that Parag's been doing with the RIBA. Then I kind of realized that a lot of my colleagues who I admire professionally have actually kind of grown through Action Coach, and I kind of thought, oh well, if they've done it, then it should be good. And then I kind of met Parag and his team and started this journey. And I think the biggest outtake from that is really my mindset has completely shifted into this idea of that you're not, like for 8 years, I guess I was working in the business rather than on the business. And now it's, I'm spending my time kind of more and more working on the business rather than in it. I haven't drawn a single line on CAD for probably 5 years. So it was kind of a gradual thing. And now it's, there's a team that does all that. And I'm really concentrating on the business a lot. So this mind shift has been both kind of business, but also in my personal life. So it definitely has improved things on both grounds. And it's really another big shift has been believing in myself. So really feeling confident. I have specific goals for the next 3 months, 5 years, 10 years. I'm working towards an amazing goal that I've set myself for summer of 22. Kooks and I have branded it as the 6-week club. So next summer, I plan to take the whole summer. I plan this to be an annual thing. So the first summer, I'll probably be in touch with the office once a week because I just feel that I have to. And it's part of the process of slowly letting go. But eventually I want to disappear in the summer completely without speaking to the office or anything. So I want the whole office to kind of run without me. And in order to achieve that, there's a lot of systems that need to go into place. So this is what I'm working on for the next year and 2 months. So my story.
Okay, Amos. I think the screen froze a tiny bit there.
Oh. Is it okay now?
Yeah, I can see you now. I'm assuming that you kind of just wrapped up at the end there with the 6-week club.
Yeah, I don't know when did it freeze, but
I think we kind of got the tail end of it.
Okay.
So someone just, yes, getting a tiny bit of interference, but I think everyone's got the tail end of it. Thank you so much for sharing the story, Amos, and your experience of it. So, look, my name is Kooks. Everyone. Sorry. Yeah. So my name is Kooks.
No.
Kuldip Singh Sahota, but everyone has known me as Kooks. I'm essentially a serial entrepreneur, and I'm actually now a qualified business coach. I also own a bonsai tree called Mr. Miyagi, which I'm very proud of. And I know Amos through Action Coach. We were actually in the same class together, and Parag, the gentleman that Amos is talking about, is still my coach and my co-coach in business coaching as well now. So my story is not too dissimilar to Amos's. I had a short career in the city, but my first business was actually building 152 apartments, which you see here on the left in India, in a place called Gujarat. I went there with a business partner of mine, couldn't speak the language. Thankfully he could, but we decided to build 152 apartments in an area called Baroda. The development was worth £5.2 million. And I was responsible for the marketing, the sales and the branding. I sold my stake in that business to start my family business, which is what you see on the right-hand side. That's my dad and my brother. And of course, naturally, I decided to make chili sauce in my garden shed. It was a very exciting time, very explosive kind of growth story. The brand kind of captured the imagination of people. We appeared on TV, we appeared in the newspapers, we were on radio. We scaled rapidly. We were supplying the likes of Tesco, Sainsbury's, Ocado, Selfridges, Harvey Nichols. We were exporting to New York, to Paris, to South Africa, parts of the Far East, and we actually even attracted investors. So we got angel investors, and we raised over, I think it's over £200,000 on Seeders, which is a crowdfunding platform. And this was all from a garden shed. I had no experience of business, no formal business education, aside from just kind of stumbling along and doing what I was doing, similar to what Amos said, you know, just kind of learning as you go. Now, this was a very rapid and intense period of my life. So basically, I'd gone from a garden shed to being on TV and being watched by millions. And a few years later, I realized I hated it. I was highly stressed. I put all of my money into it. I felt as though I was underpaid. I had no days off, 18 hours a day, like no social life. Essentially, I'd created myself a job that I could not leave from. And my boss, i.e. me, was an absolute lunatic, because I wouldn't rest. I wouldn't, you know, take care of myself. And I had no idea what I was doing, to tell the truth. And I think most importantly for me, I realized that if I did not work, I did not get paid. And I just knew that I didn't want that type of life. And I came across coaching through a friend of mine who had just basically gone from strength to strength and started working less. And I couldn't figure it out. And so my experience of coaching was completely transformative. The image you see on the left is on our Instagram of my family business page. So it says 10:17 p.m. in London on a Saturday night. And I'm kind of celebrating this craziness of working all the hours and working on Saturday night. And I think it's a good thing. It's not, it's an absolute lie. And like you can see, you know, in my old house, that's my brother, we used to keep our stock in the living room. But the picture on the right is, for me, the most important. I hadn't had a 7-day holiday in over 7 years. My relationship was it wasn't suffering, but it was just not what it could have been. And after my first session of coaching, I, on the way home, decided to make a change. It was a mental shift, like Amos said. I had to change me, I had to change my mentality. And on the way home, I booked a trip to Greece, and it was our first 7-day plus trip in 7 years. And so that's why that image is there. So what drives change in us, and potentially you as well? What is the magic pill that you see here? So before I continue, I just want to share a story with you. In the chat box, can you just put a yes if you know the story of Roger Bannister? It'd be really good to know if you've heard of Roger Bannister, you know who Roger Bannister is. Yes, yes, yes.
There's some people with a mic on. So.
Yes, some people with a mic on. Can you please, everyone, just double check your mics turned off? Yes, yes, yes. Getting quite a few yeses in the chat box, which is great. So for those of you who don't know, Roger Bannister in 1954 was the first athlete to run 1 mile in under 4 minutes in recorded history. So just put this concept in your mind. 1954, no other human has managed to run 1 mile in less than 4 minutes. It was thought humanly impossible, biomechanically impossible. The scientists said it couldn't be done. Roger Bannister did it. And it was a phenomenal feat. Now, what's important, or more important than the fact that Roger Bannister broke this seemingly impossible goal, was that his record only lasted 46 days. 46 days later, someone else came along and ran a mile in less than 4 minutes. And now we've got 2 people for the first time in recorded history who've been able to do it. And since then, thousands and thousands of people have been able to run a mile in less than 4 minutes. Now, since 1954, what happened? The only thing that happened was it was a paradigm shift. The mentality changed. What we once thought was possible was now possible. So Amos, you can probably relate to this. You know, for me, I thought the only thing that was possible was me working all the time. That's what means business. That's what means success. And until I changed my mindset to accept that something else was possible, that is what needed to happen. And Amos, I'm assuming this similar type of thing with yourself, like a paradigm shift in thinking.
Yeah, definitely.
So what I'd like to share with you all today is a concept that we talk about, which is called the identity iceberg. Now, in order to get change as a coach, I have to challenge your belief systems in order for you to change what you're choosing to believe. Now, in this section, please do take notes and really put some thinking behind some of the things that we're going to go over here. Now, 20% of what we do is above the water. So our behaviors, our decisions, our actions. These are 20% of what we can do to start driving some change in ourselves. And though they're very important, they actually contribute 20%, right? So there's a whole lot more that we need to work on and at least be aware of in order to start making changes in ourselves. Oh, sorry. Now, the bulk of the change comes below the water. So within ourselves, very deep down. The changes come from the skills that we have, you know, our organizational skills, our planning skills, and so on. Our belief systems, you know, what do you believe is possible? Do you believe that you are a great salesperson? Do you believe that selling is for someone else and you don't need to sell? You know, what are you believing that could potentially be holding you back from the life that you want? Do you believe it's possible to work 4.5 days a week and then chill on your sofa with your cat like Amos does? Is that entirely possible? Do you believe it's possible? What values do you hold true to yourself? You know, what are your values related to money, to life, to relationships? Make notes of all of these things, because it's for you to kind of start diving deep down into the things that cause change. Now, the deeper down you get, the bigger transformations you can experience. So your identity, your I am statements are massively important. You know, for what are you saying to yourself? Do you say to yourself, I am? Do you say to yourself, I am an architect? Or do you say to yourself, I am a business owner? Do you say to yourself, you know, I'm someone that needs to work all the time, or I am rubbish at sales? Or, you know, do you say, I am not that confident? The words that come after I am are massively important and drive huge amounts of change. And it takes effort and it takes consistent work, but it's really important what you say about yourself and what your identity is. Amos, what were some of the identity changes that you had to make in yourself?
The biggest thing has been affirmations.
Okay.
So these are kind of statements that you tell yourself about things that you want to happen.
Yeah.
And at first, when Parag introduced us to it, I was a bit skeptic about them. I think generally I used to be a bit skeptic about things to do with these sort of things, like kind of working about on yourself and how effective they might be. But I gave it a try, and so I've made a list of about 20 affirmations. So these were most of them kind of business related. So things like, I'm a great architect, I'm going to have loads of clients, I'm confident, I believe in myself. Some were also personal. So things like, I have a great family, I have a loving family. And I've put them on my phone. I've set an alarm for every day at 8:30 in the morning. So that's when I kind of, in between kind of breakfast, taking my daughter to school, and it sort of pops up, and I did it continuously for about 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden there was this, it's hard to describe, it's this sort of inner sensation that kind of and sudden kind of calmness and this sort of positive energy that kind of runs through your blood, and I've been doing it for at least for the past year, and after a while it kind of becomes, you don't need to look at the list anymore. You kind of repeat the list in your head,
Mm-hmm.
and that has been an amazing change. And I do refer to that list, and I update it. I usually kind of read it in before an important meeting or presentation, just to boost my my outlook and my positivity. So if you don't know about affirmations, I highly recommend them.
No, I love it. I think that's, for me, it's the exact same. I've got my notebook next to me. I do pretty much the same thing every day. I actually write down the same affirmations daily at about the same time. And I don't know about you, but you kind of feel like you're lying to yourself at the beginning.
Yeah.
And you feel, yeah, I felt a bit kind of douchey doing it. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Yeah, it's a bit cheesy. I mean,
it's a bit cheesy, right?
Yeah.
It is a bit cheesy, but it's proven. I think that's the most important thing. Like, if, again, it goes down to your values, your identities, what you're choosing to believe in. If you believe this is going to work, it will. If you believe it won't work, it won't work. And for you, Amos, and myself, we just knew that we wanted a different way of life, and so we chose for this to work. I
think another important thing which is on your list is the skills, and another huge transformation. So I've always been a really crap reader.
Okay.
So really very, very slow. Never really completed any books. Well, some, but certainly not in the past kind of 10 years. Everything has been kind of focused on kind of work and so on. Through coaching, and there's a book club that I joined about a year ago, and I discovered reading again. So there's a lot of skills that you can build from reading, from watching YouTube videos, and I think and another big impact is surrounding yourself with like-minded people. So,
well, you've revealed the final 5%. What I was going to say is, at the beginning of this slide, there was that big pill, the magic pill, and you're absolutely right. The final 5% is your environment. Now, your environment is something that you can change instantly, like literally overnight. You can change your environment. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Are you surrounding yourself with doubters, or are you surrounding yourself with people who are uplifting and positive minded? What's on your Instagram feed? Are you feeding your brain? Are you feeding yourself with things that are motivating you or inspiring you or are aspirational to you? Like Amos said, what type of books are you reading? What kind of knowledge are you exposing yourself to? For example, coaching. Are you surrounded? Are you getting the mentorship and the education that you need to get you to where you want to get to? And these are all things that you can change literally overnight. And your environment actually contributes, because it's the deepest part of change. It actually starts to create the most impact almost immediately. So as I shared in my story, the minute I was exposed to coaching, I realized that I had to change my whole way of thinking, my whole world. I booked my first 7-day holiday in 7 years. Amos started making changes and doing affirmations and thinking completely differently by being exposed to coaching, and actually those people in coaching. Amos, you and I were in the same class.
Yeah.
So it's you're surrounded by like-minded people who are on a journey of growth. So what I'd like to do is just spend a couple of minutes here on this slide and answer some questions or respond to some thoughts that everyone has. Oh, sorry, if I go on to that. So if you've got any questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat box, and we'll spend a tiny bit of time just responding to those questions or those thoughts. No questions yet. Maybe everyone knows all this stuff.
Don't be shy.
Just being conscious of time. Let's have a look. No questions at the moment. So yeah, remember everyone, if in order to get the most out of this, please do participate and be involved as much as you possibly can, because what you're thinking about, no doubt someone else is going to be thinking about. Amos, we've got a question from Kat. What has been the most valuable skills you've learned recently?
I guess so. Being empathic to my team. I've always considered myself empathic, but I think definitely during kind of COVID and working remotely, and there's this book that I've been reading called Candid Candor. So it's how, I guess, how kind of to offer kind of advice or a kind of positive advice, but also being critical at some points. So I think it's kind of getting the most out of the team.
Okay.
Has been a good skill. And then one of the biggest changes that I've made, and that came about also through the coaching, is that I've always been stage fright completely. Even doing webinars like this, giving presentations, kind of sort of under the umbrella of public speaking. Sweats and stomach aches and kind of body aches, and I've decided to change all that. So I enrolled into a public speaking course, and that had a tremendous effect on everything.
Love it. So acquiring new skills.
Yep.
To develop yourself and moving forward. So a couple of more questions have popped through, Amos. A really good one is, how do you choose what your affirmations should be? How do you go about changing your environment if people intrinsic to your life are not of the same mindset?
On affirmations, I kind of Googled it just initially.
Yeah.
Just to get ideas, and then once you kind of understand it a bit more, it was easier for me to come up with them. So a lot is kind of about the business, that I want more clients and being confident.
Mm-hmm.
And then I, at some point last year, I had a really bad client with no social skills whatsoever.
Right.
And as a person, you tend to take criticism quite personally. So then I put together a list of affirmations just to tackle that, and for me to deal with this sort of person. So
I think we've got time for maybe one or two more. So there's a question which is on the affirmation list. Do you stick to affirmative tenses only? I am, I have, I like. That's yes, 100%. You need to talk to yourself as though you have it already. You are in the moment, and you know that's where you are. And then someone's asked, what are your strategies, Amos, to avoid comparing your progress, work, business, house, travel, salary to others?
Can you repeat that? I didn't.
Yeah, so someone's asked, what are your strategies to avoid comparing your progress, such as work, business, house, travel, salary to others?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I certainly admit that I used to compare myself, even even to the extent of kind of checking company records, which is really bad thing to do. I think you just it's part of this mindset and this really working on yourself and saying you can't compare yourself to others.
Yeah.
This is your journey. This
Yeah.
is not their journey.
Yeah.
And just sticking to it. Look, it's still work in progress. I don't have all the answers. I'm in it for the long run. I think it takes probably maybe 5 years till you kind of maybe reach that end kind of goal. But
Yeah.
I certainly have loads of tools that I didn't have before. Certainly, I'm changing my mindset. So kind of when I look back at where I was 2 years ago and where I am now, both kind of personally, kind of mindset, where the business is, where the accounts are, we're constantly at a trajectory going upwards.
I love it. So any questions we did not answer, please do save them. We'll try and answer them at the end of the webinar. And so look, typically when it comes to business, there's normally 3 areas of pain business owners go through. So normally there's a time pain. You're working all the hours that are available to you 7 days a week, putting out fires essentially all of the time. Team problems, struggles in finding the right type of candidate, or the candidates are never good enough, or people leaving and so on. Or there's money issues, cash flow issues. You get a great project that comes through the door, you get partial payments, so you've got some money for the month. Next month there's no money. Where are you going to pay your bills from? Clients not paying on time, and there's issues in relation to money in many different ways. And oftentimes, all of these areas of pain stem from you, from us as the business owners. And reason being is because we don't necessarily have the tools to alleviate the pain or set ourselves up in a way that reduces the pain involved in all of these 3 sections. So during the coaching program, we cover all of this, how to essentially eliminate pain in these 3 main areas that businesses experience. So before moving on to the really deep stuff, out of interest, just in the chat box, can you please share what you think a business is? Very quickly, what is your definition of a business? It's really important to know where people are at the moment. Let's have a look what people think. It's okay if you don't know, if you don't have a clear definition. Maurice is saying making a living out of your passion and provides a service to your customers, a for-profit enterprise, a vehicle providing a service with a goal to thrive. Okay, interesting. I think Amos, you and I probably had similar answers before we had the epiphany.
Yeah.
So our definition in coaching and in business, and I've now taken this on as my definition of what a business is. A business is a commercial and profitable enterprise that works without you, if you wish to have it work without you. So I'll repeat that. A commercial and profitable enterprise which works without you. That's what a business is. So Amos, revealed earlier on the 6-week club, going on holiday for 6 weeks. The only way that he's able to do that is because he is building a commercial and profitable enterprise which works without him. So please make note of that, and that is our definition of what a business is. Now, what is a business coach? A business coach is essentially the unreasonable friend who holds you accountable. We've all got that one friend, that one person in our life that holds us accountable. And a business coach is someone that does that specifically for you and for your business. Because when you're the owner, you've got no one to answer to, and you've got no one to bounce ideas off, and so on and so forth. But this is what a business coach does. Business coach helps you stay accountable to what you said you were going to do, and follow through on the plans that you've set for yourself. Now, a very important consideration for you is if coaching is right for you. If you're someone who's got what we call a fixed mindset, so you say, I know, yeah, but new ideas kind of irritate you a little bit, then perhaps coaching is not for you. However, if you're someone who's got a growth mindset, you're someone who says, go on, I'm listening, that's very interesting, and you're open to having your thoughts and your ideas challenged, then potentially coaching is for you, because you're ready to grow and you're open to new suggestions and new ideas. So within the coaching system that we've got here, and something that I've been through and Amos has been through, and we continue to go through, should I say, is the 6-step system. This is fundamental to building a commercial and profitable enterprise which works without you. The first layer is mastery, which is essentially eliminating chaos, eliminating the firefighting and identifying where you want to go. The next is your niche, which creates that nice predictable cash flow of leads coming into your business, money coming into your business, and improving how you operate your business. Next is systems. So creating efficiency in what you have so far, clear vision, mission, culture statement, organizational charts, contracts, KPIs, and so on. The next layer up is your team. So your recruitment system, team performance, creating structure, basically. Then we have something which is called synergy. Your general managers, your business is starting to work without you. It's a very well-oiled machine. And then finally, you have your results. This is an opportunity for you now as a business owner to expand, or to take the money that the business is making for you and to start investing. It's about growth. All of this put together creates massive results in time, team, and money. And Amos, I think you will agree with me here. This is definitely a work in progress. It's something that you have to do step by step. For me, I always describe this as if you've been given a Lego set and you've started to build that Lego set, and the Lego set is your business, the instruction manual that seems to be missing is what coaching is all about. It's the missing instruction manual. You open it up, you look at the steps, and you basically realize what's missing, complete those steps, and then you start to build a business. Would you agree with that, Amos?
Yeah, completely. And definitely when you start a business, no one gives you that manual.
Instruction manual.
Yeah, you can't buy it on Amazon. Missing. You can't. I mean, there's loads of books about it and posts online, but you really need to stick your teeth and everything else into it.
Yeah.
So for instance, we're very busy at the moment working on the systems. So we have our vision already. We have a mission. We've got our core kind of values that we've put together as a team. But now it's kind of working on these systems and KPIs and charts, and currently I'm focusing on client experience.
It's ongoing.
It never stops.
Yeah, and this is the difference, right? This is working on your business versus in the business and doing the actual admin, the drawings, the so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
Okay, everyone. So I think this is what you've probably all been waiting for. Aside from hearing Amos and his experiences, this is the bit that's immensely powerful, and how you can increase your profits and your cash flows like that. This is, if you're going to take notes anywhere, this is the section to take notes. There's some very interesting concepts that we're going to cover. So please do take your time, take notes, and really soak this in. So this system is called the 5 ways. It's the 5 ways to increase your business profits. So we've got the number of leads in your business. So this is the inquiries that come in, or people showing interest in your business. You've got your conversion rate. So 10 people coming in, how many of them then become customers with you, or clients, sorry. And that results in your number of customers. You then got your number of transactions. So how many times a year or every couple of years does that client do business with you? You've then got your average sale value. How much are they spending with you each and every time? Which is then turnover. And you've got your margin, which is how much you're making after all your costs and your expenses, which gives you your profits.
I think
Now,
it's just worth pointing out that in architecture, I guess because we rarely have repeated clients, so the number of transactions that's usually just one.
Okay, and I think that's important to note, because you know, the realities of this versus the kind of theory of this is worth kind of translating. So, you know, but as you know, Amos, even if the number of transactions is one, yeah, there's a lot of other things that we can work on to improve the business. So just out of interest, again, in the chat box, please, for those of you, what's going on here? What would you say is the difference between the items that are in white and those that are in yellow? It's not a trick question. I'm just interested to know, what are the differences between those things in white and those things in yellow? Just answers in the chat box, please. Andrew, white you can control. Anyone else? Yellow is directly affected by white. Outcomes. Yeah, perfect, spot on. White you cannot control. Yellow is results. Irini, yeah, spot on. That, I mean, that's the nail on the head right there. White are controllable. White things, the white items are controllable. The yellow ones are outcomes. They're results. And it's really important to make note of that distinction, because you can control all the elements that are in white text. So let's just go through a working example. We've got a business and it's generating 4,000 leads a year. And of those 4,000 leads, 25% convert. And that gives us our number of customers, right? So this business, nice business, it's got 1,000 customers. Now, in this particular instance, they transact with the business 2 times a year, and each time they spend £100. So therefore, the turnover of the business, £200,000, okay? So 1,000 customers, essentially purchasing twice is 2,000 customers times £100, £200,000 turnover. Now this business is making a 25% profit, which means it's making £50,000 a year, okay? Real simple numbers for a nice looking business. Now this is where it gets extremely interesting. What would a 10% increase in all of these areas give your business? So let's say we increase the number of leads that we're getting from 4,000 to 4,400. It's 4,000 times 10%, 400, add them together is 4,400. Same again with a conversion rate, 25% increase by 10% gives us 27.5%. Our number of customers goes to what? Let's see who's got the calculators out. Is it 1,100? Answers in the chat box. I'll wait. See who's paying attention. Well, actually, the answer is 1,210. It's not 1,100. And the reason being is we're working with the power of compounding here. And this is where it starts to get extremely powerful and extremely interesting. And why it's important that we start taking notes within our own businesses of the data with all of these key indicators that we can manage. So let's go finish the example. So instead of transacting with us 2 times a year, in this particular instance, people are transacting with us 2.2 times a year. And instead of spending £100, now they're spending £110. what does it do to our turnover? The turnover goes from 200,000 to 220,000? No, it goes to a massive 292,000 pounds, which is a huge 92,000 pound increase. I mean, I will take that all day long. It's a huge increase. But this is, again, where it gets really, really interesting. If we increase our margins from 25%, we're just increasing our margins by 10%. We're increasing from 25% to 27.5%. Our profits jump to a massive 80,000 pounds. So just with this simple exercise, the turnover is increasing your business by 46%. Your profits have gone up 61%, and it's phenomenal. The first time I saw this, it just blew me away. But I also knew I wasn't tracking any of this information. So we'll cover this in a second. I'm just going to leave this on screen for a moment so you guys can take it in. Okay, so which should we tackle first? Now, before we go into the practicalities, and Amos, I think your experience is going to be massively valuable here in terms of sharing how you've tackled this. I'd like to play a bit of a game, and please be interactive in this part of the event. So which should we tackle first? Answers in the chat box, please. I'll wait for some people to respond. Number of leads. Irini saying number of leads, number of leads. James. Anyone else? Average sale, conversion rate, margin. David, conversion rates. All equally important. All, okay. Profit margins, sales. Okay, some interesting answers. So those of you who said, those of you who said margins, 10 points, well done. The margin is the first place that you start in your business. Increasing your margins overnight, even by 1%, is instantly going to improve your bottom line. It's going to put more profit into your business. If you go for 10%, 20%, whatever the number is, it will overnight increase the profits in your business. The second is conversion rate. Number 3 and 4, average sale value and the number of transactions. And the final one is the number of leads. Now, the reason being is because the number of leads is the most expensive way to increase profits in your business. You have to buy those leads one way or another. That you have to go out and do some kind of advertising, some kind of marketing, some kind of activity that's going to cost you money. The rest of these activities you can actually work on essentially for free. So Amos, over to you. I mean, it'd be great for you to kind of share your experiences and perhaps even some examples of what you worked on in the early days and maybe even now using the 5-way system.
I mean, I can certainly relate to all these. In terms of margins, yeah, over the past year or at least 2 years, we definitely increased our own fees. I recently had to look back at a project that we did 4 years ago, and I was really shocked at how much we charged then, and since then it quadrupled, at least quadrupled. So that was good. But I guess personally, I'm still slightly, I guess with margins, sometimes you struggle, and you need to be careful. I think where it takes a hit is that if you discount yourself, which is very dangerous, and that's something that we definitely I stopped doing. I don't offer discounts anymore. We have a starting kind of price, and for us it's more about showing potential clients the value that we add, and the reason why. And a good example is that we recently won a project where we were 40% more expensive than the competitors. So they went to 3 architects. We were 40% more on our fees, and they chose us in the end.
Yeah.
So that's a good example. Kind of average of sale, that kind of I guess that kind of relates to your margin, or where you kind of position yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, number of transactions, I kind of touched on that.
Yeah.
It's usually 1.
Yeah.
The thing I can relate a lot to is the number of leads, and that's certainly something that in the past year we invested a lot of time and kind of money in generating loads and loads of leads through online consultations that we still run. But when you look at what we're spending on kind of online advertising versus the return that we get, I mean, it's no brainer. In terms of the conversion rate, it's really, it feeds a lot into knowing who you are, why you do what you do, your kind of why, what value you add, what makes you different to the next architect.
I think it's also, sorry, Amos, just that's also your sales process, right? Learning how to sell, learning how to market your services, acquiring those skills and getting over the kind of mental hurdle of being a salesperson.
Which is why this 5-way, like you said, when you first kind of see it and then you understand it, it really blows your mind, because it kind of, it's a simple equation, but actually there's so many things that feed into it.
Yeah.
Your entire kind of business development and business mindset, and your systems, and all your that chart that you said of the six stages really all boils down to this and into it. So
and it's why you know we teach this in coaching in many different forms. You know, there's hundreds of strategies that people can deploy to increase conversion rates, to increase average sale values, increase your margins. There's a few questions in terms of breaking down margins within architecture, and you know, that's probably something that you'd be better positioned to answer. But it's worth noting that this is what we coach, right? This is the missing instruction manual piece within the coaching program and within business in general. Because if you're not tracking your number of leads, if you're not tracking your conversion rates and all these data points, it becomes very, very difficult to then start building on it and making the growth changes that you need to. So yeah, you have to work on all of them, but step by step, right?
Yeah. So for instance, that question from Irini, no, it's a fair point. And I guess you can dive into a lot more details. So what I have, for instance, is I have a simple CRM kind of table that I use on Airtable, and every lead that comes in, I immediately put a tick and say the source. So I've got referral, I've got whether it's from Google, whether it's from advertising, and so on. So that's where you can then look back and see which channels are performing well and which are not, where you need to invest more time or money. I mean, there's been some really interesting questions before. So
how about this, Amos? Sorry to jump in. How about this? If we kind of wrap up the webinar, then we'll have a tiny bit of time at the end to do the questions. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. So for those of you who are interested and you're keen to explore coaching a little bit further and kind of experience what Amos and I have been through, I've been mandated to actually offer some gifted coaching sessions. It is for business owners. You need to have a trading history of at least 6 months, because ultimately we're going to be reviewing performance. We're going to be reviewing what you've done already and where you are now. And so if you are interested in that, during the Q&A section, I will share a link for you to register on. Just out of interest, if there is appetite for that gifted coaching session, no charge at all, can you just put a yes in the chat box, just so I can see who is interested, and then we can kind of move on to the Q&A. Yes. Okay, great. Okay, great. Some great interest there. Okay, perfect. Thank you everyone today for your time. Amos, you were just an absolute superstar. I absolutely loved having this conversation with you. I'm going to end the presentation now, and we'll just go into some questions, and I'll share the link with everyone. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So how should we do it, Kooks?
Sorry.
How shall we do it?
So I think if people just want to start sharing some questions in the chat box, do you want to maybe go through, because there's some very specific ones related to architecture, do you want to maybe just go through and pick some out and start answering them?
Siri asked previously on the fact that I draw less, if it's a result of working on the business, not in. I think a mixture. It kind of happened even before I started coaching. I just kind of realized that someone needs to work on the business and to get clients. So it just happened this way, and slowly I became slower and slower and slower in using CAD, and now I just leave it to the team. So as your change in mindset resulted in more profitable business, yes, definitely. It just kind of prioritizes yourself, and you work more towards achieving these goals. So certainly.
Sorry,
delegation, very, very important, and I'm still guilty. I'm already delegating a lot, and actually within the team we don't have any hierarchy. I kind of, and everyone that joins the office joins knowing that they're going to be thrown into the deep end with the lifeline. I'm not going to let anyone drown and drown us with it, with them. But yeah, they all have a say in the business. I've actually sent one of my colleagues onto the business coaching. They had a sort of a reduced sort of introductory course into it, because I've identified him as a potential sort of associate, and he's already now as an associate. So he's already in this mindset as well. We recently introduced KPIs, so everyone has goals within the office. So it slowly has an effect on the rest of us.
Sorry, Amos, just before you answer the next one, I just wanted to let everyone know I'm about to put the link to the gifted coaching session in the chat box. Just want to repeat again, it is for business owners and for anyone who's been trading for 6 months or more, because we need a trading history and we will be reviewing performance. So I'm just putting it in the chat box now for anyone who's interested. I've added it in the chat box now. Sorry, go ahead, Amos.
Marisa asked about affirmation list. Do you stick to your affirmation tense only? I am, I have, I like. I guess so, yes. It kind of works for me. Your strategy is avoiding, okay, we've done that. What do you say was the most? Transformation from to be more hands-off. Again, it's I guess learning to let go, which is hard. I'm still it's certainly a work in progress for me. I haven't fully managed that yet. Yes, Danila, did you develop a new work methodology to develop a more clear and easy service for you and the client? Yes. Again, it's still work in progress. We are concentrating now on the client experience. So exactly, and that also the thinking process is that other members of the team can take on the sales process. So it's not only me. Currently, the website is really geared around me. There's the brand of kind of AGA, but there's also me as a brand, and some clients come to me especially, and then they expect me to kind of run the project. I lost one project because the client didn't like the fact that I'm not going to be the project architect, and I just said this is a setup. I can't manage all the projects. There is a team. So I'm in the process of kind of reevaluating the kind of message, so it doesn't always fall on me. What did you do to get the energy to keep going? What is your energy source? That's a good question. Look, sometimes I don't have energy, and sometimes my mental health is really down. Like really down, and I kind of doubt myself. And I think it's a natural behavior. Affirmations help, certainly. Having support from your family helps. Touching on family, I was recently touched by my family and daughters when they commented on how this journey of coaching has really impacted me in a positive way. So they see the change at home, and this has been my biggest reward. So
just whilst you're searching for some more questions,
a lot of really interesting questions, and I'm worried about time.
Well, I asked everyone, and if they're all right to stay on for another 10 or 15 minutes, and people have said yes to that. So
okay, I'm good. I don't have anything.
Yeah.
Greg, compare yourself to positive role models, maybe not a sector that has issues with money and overworking. I don't know if that's a question. Neil, how have your clients responded to the shift? Are they aware that you now work more on the business rather than in the business? Yes. I mean, at the outset of the project, and also when I meet new clients, I explain how we work, and I say that I'm usually 100% involved in the early stages of developing the brief and so on, but from a certain stage, the project will have its own project architect, but I'm always kind of available and they accept it.
So Amos, just whilst you're looking for some more questions, I did see one earlier, which was a really good one, when someone wanted the breakdown of margins within architecture. And I know as well, like, you know, you kind of, it's very easy to undervalue your time once you get a project on. And then by the time you get into the work, and if you start looking at it really, it could end up costing you money taking on a project because of the work that's involved. And so maybe if it's possible for you to kind of explain margin in architecture and how you've started to look at it, and that might help a lot of people. And in addition, I've got about another 5 minutes, so I'll have to wrap up in about 5 minutes,
Okay.
If that's okay as well.
Cool. Yeah, margins. Yeah, it's I don't have an easy answer for that. I mean, that's something that I am sometimes struggling with myself, and it really I think we're in a kind of a profession that I mean, sometimes you take a project for other reasons than profit. So yeah, I'm afraid I don't have a clear answer.
No worries.
No
worries at all. Couple more, I think we've got some time for, maybe one or two more. I'll try and help find you some because there are quite a few. Is tackling margins, avoiding overwork, as well as increasing fees. Could you explain for an architecture office where clients for a one-time shop? Let's have a look. I think that's probably it. I mean, there are quite a few that we may have missed. But is there anything that you want to add before we wrap up, Amos?
Well, first, thanks again, Kooks and Parag, for making this happen. A recent change that we've made, and it's not new. We were actually inspired as well by colleague and friend who I think are here from Finkenhager Ross, Catherine. So we started. We actually reduced our week to 4.5 days. So we have an office meeting every Friday at 12 o'clock, and after that we go home. So this is certainly something that I'm working towards. And another sort of skill or learning curve that happened over the past years, I read a fascinating book by a guy called Andrew Barnes about a 4-day week. And I really want to try it out. So my aim is maybe after I take next summer off, is to reduce the whole office to a 4-day week, same salary, but with the aim of improving the work-life balance. And I'm kind of on a mission to try and seriously and make it work and prove that it is possible within our sector to work less but still maintain same profits, same kind of output, because I think we're as a profession, we're guilty in kind of sacrificing our life and working crazy hours. And it seems like there's this notion that you do need to suffer in order to be creative. But I think it can be done. So.
All right, great. Well, Amos, likewise for me, thank you so much for making the time to join us. Everyone else, thank you so much for participating in this event. I hope you found it very helpful. Once again, if you are interested in the gifted coaching session, I'm literally just adding the link in the chat box now. So please go ahead, click the link and register, and we'll make some time to speak with you and give you some of the knowledge and the value that we've both experienced, and now I'm kind of sharing with people. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. And if you've learned anything, please start applying it straight away so you can get to where you need to get to. Thank you very much, everyone.
If you have any more kind of questions, please feel free to get in touch. And we might do another session maybe.
Yeah, I'd love to do another one with you, Amos. We can cover some more specifics as well.
Maybe after I do my 6 weeks holiday.
6-week club. Perfect. Okay. All right, great. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.